Okay. In the previous video, we saw how to get the first word from this whole line, which originally had what? It originally had a space in it, right? So originally over here was a space character, and we called stirtoke for the first time. We gave it the address at the beginning of inbuff. Stirtoke scanned the characters in inbuff, looking to see whether any of the whitespace characters was there. Eventually it found one of the whitespace characters, which was a space here, and it put a 0 here. And then it remembered where that 0 is. And in this case, it started at what? It started at 31dog 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B. So this address was where that 0 is, right? Okay. And then actually, I think it remembers the thing right after that. So it put the 0 here, and it remembers the next address. Now this is inside of stirtoke. It's a pointer to a character. It's a pointer to a character. And it's not something that you get to see. It's there. All right? So you called stirtoke. You gave it the beginning of the buffer. It started, and it scanned. It found a space. It zeroed it out, and it remembered that spot. That got you the first word. Stirtoke returned here, and we got the first word. So I can say stirtoke blob, okay? If I got the address of the first word back, it's not going to be null, okay? And this while loop is okay. This while loop is okay because when we get to the end, stirtoke is going to return a null. So the first word was not a null. We can check the linked list for that word. We can count if the word was already there. We can add, Mallow can add a new structured linked list if it wasn't, okay? All right. Now we've processed that first word. How do I get the second word? I'm going to call stirtoke again, and over here, you'll notice I did not put, I just put null. I did not put the address of a beginnings thing. I just put a null there. When I call stirtoke with a null there, stirtoke uses this thing over here, whatever its internal number was. Okay, 31DC. Right. So it remembered the spot after the last 0 that it plugged. It remembered that address. So effectively, we're calling stirtoke starting from here. And so what happens? So starting from here was the letter A. It's not one of these guys. The letter R is not one of these guys. The letter E is not one of these guys. A new line character is this 10. It's going to 0 out the new line character. And it's going to do what? It's going to remember where it was. So this was B, C, D, E, F, 3, 1, easy 0. Excuse me. Very well. Just going to remember this address, 3, 1, easy 0. Okay. So here we found the new line. Here we found a space and zeroed it. Over here we found a new line and zeroed it. And then we reset our internal pointer. Stirtoke resets this internal pointer to be the address after the one it just zeroed. Okay? And it's going to return what? It's going to return the starting thing, right? So now it's going to return over here. It'll return the starting thing. 3-1 dog Baker. Okay. So stir toke put a 0 there. Stir toke put a 0 there. Okay. The second time we call stir toke, the beginning address was 3-1 dog Baker. That's what's going to come back. So W, our char star, that W is our char star. Our char star, W, points to the address of the second word on the line. What are we going to do? Well, go back up to the top of the while loop. W is not equal to null. We process the word. Okay? We see if it's on the linked list. If it's already on the linked list, we just type the count. If it's not on the linked list, we malloc and instruct, put it on the linked list like that. Okay? Got it. So that's the R. Now we come back and we call stir toke again. This time when we call stir toke, here's null. Here's the internal pointer. It's going to be 3-1 easy 0. We'll call stir toke, say start from 3-1 easy 0. We're going to see what? We're going to see that 0 up there, right? Remember, here was the new line. The character after the new line was the 0 which F gets put there. So stir toke is going to say, wait a second, there's nothing more here. And it will return a null. So W will then become null. Okay. This thing will become whatever, we don't care. And stir toke will return a null. Go back up to the while loop. W is equal to null, and we're done. So that's how we process the words on the line one at a time until we get to the end. All right? Okay. So that's stir toke. Okay. For people who are programming with multiple threads and this kind of thing, or real-time programming with interrupts, or signals, you should be warned that stir toke can be slightly dangerous because inside of your program there's only one stir toke. Stir toke has this one character here saying where it is. It's one finger. It's got a finger into this buffer, right? So if you call stir toke from two different parts of your program that might be able to interrupt each other, then you could be partway through this loop here. Stir toke is moving its finger across, and then partway through this, some other piece of your code in response to a signal or an interrupt starts processing another buffer. This thing gets redirected, this finger gets redirected to the other buffer, and now the signal finishes, we come back here, and we're no longer reading this guy, we're now reading the other guy. So this is kind of primitive and dangerous if you've got multiple threads or interrupts. So that's a big warning for stir toke. Okay, enough. I think that's all you need to know to do this lab. In your lab write-up, I mentioned that this thing over here can be replaced by a for loop. Okay? So you can read about that in the write-up. So instead of a while loop with two stir toke, you can do it with one for loop. Okay. If you understand how for loops work, this is pretty obvious. If you don't understand how for loops work, it's worth looking at to find out. Okay. Thank you muchly.